Alright, hello fun and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Working Aquariums mod, which is being made by user Monkey Spunk. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is, well, exactly what the name says, working aquariums for you to build inside your settlements. And I love these things. They are just so cool, and beyond being just fun, neat, aesthetic, decorative items for you to build in your towns and cities, they actually do have a use to them beyond just the cool aesthetics, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And all in all, they are just some fun items with a lot of good variety and decoration within the aquariums, and of course are all housing a selection of color-changing rad fish, and that's just really cool. I really do like that. It's just fun. I mean, they're aquariums. You'd hope there be fish, and here they are just swimming around in these places. It is great. So what exactly do we get with all of this wonderful aquarium stuff? Well, in total, there are a lot of aquariums to choose from. In fact, there are 44 fully functioning aquariums for you to build. I've only got a small selection here because, well, 44 is just a large number of items to build, and they're split into the two categories of sizes that you can see here. We have, first and foremost, the smaller 50-gallon tanks, each of which having a form of statue on the interior, whether it be an Assaultron or Power Armor, and there are 22 of those, half of that 44, and the other half are in the 100-gallon size variety, where rather than statues, we have a large selection of different scenes of places in the world, whether it be Nuka World, the skyline of the city, and a variety of other things. And again, here, 22 of those. Now, no matter which one you do pick, there are going to be fish with inside of them, and there's always a random selection of fishes. There are different ones. You're not going to get the same fish each time. Like you see, these ones here have like little trails of particles behind them, whereas these ones here do not. And these, oh, actually, no, never mind. These ones do here as well. And these different fish are chosen at random whenever you do build the aquarium. So if you don't like the fish, like say you don't like the ones with the weird little trail and just like want normal ones over here that don't have the weird particle trails, you just have to store this in your workshop or just destroy it entirely and build it again. Because yeah, you can't choose which fish, it's just going to be a random selection each time. Now, whenever you do build these, let's actually go into the workshop mode and talk about the viable use for these lovely aquariums. Now, in workshop mode, you'll find them in a new category called Working Aquariums, where we then do have the 100-gallon or 50-gallon ones to choose from here. And no matter which you do, it's going to take you some glass, rubber, and wood to construct these things. And it will require some electricity because there are lights in these things to illuminate the fish at night, and it will produce happiness, +2 happiness for each one of these aquariums, which is pretty sweet, and thus the actual functional use of these things, besides just being cool decorations, they will add happiness for your settlers. And your settlers will actually be able to enjoy these things. There is an idle marker in front of each of these for your settler to actually go and interact with the aquariums, which is pretty cool. So you'll actually see them wandering around to these within your towns. And between that and the happiness, it's just kind of fun things. Now, as for the tanks themselves, again, we have 44 of them and a lot of different styles, which is just so great. And with different backgrounds, different decorations when it comes to, say, the larger 100-gallon tanks. I do love things like this, like the Wild West one is a really cool one. We got a cool Nuka Galaxy one here. Just a lot of great things. And depending on, you know, what the scene is, you got different backgrounds as well, and of course then the different fish, and there are even animated bubbles and ripples in the water. And since they do require power for the lights, you can actually interact with them to turn that light on or off. It's actually a little bit bright to see that right now, so let's change the time to say, yeah, like there we go, 8 at night, there we are. And so yeah, there we go. You can turn the lights on these things or off as you so desire. They aren't the brightest things in the world, but it is nice having that little extra aesthetic to the glow. And it does make things like the ripples in the water and whatnot a little bit more, you know, visible when you do have the lights on. And overall, just really, really cool. Now, I should have mentioned earlier, but there are some requirements for these things. You are going to need Nuka World and Far Harbor, because it is borrowing a lot of assets, especially like with Nuka World. We got all this Nuka Galaxy stuff here. And you will also need the Settlement Menu Manager for it as well. So not a lot of requirements, but, you know, some pretty easily obtainable and solid ones that are used by a lot of other things. And once you got it, you can build these magnificent aquariums. And there's one more feature to show off before we do leave, besides, you know, the happiness, the idle marker, the lights that can be turned on and off. There is also destructibility. You get a nice little boom and then the rush of water, and yeah, then it has a destructed state. There we go. It takes a few more shots for the larger tanks there, just usually 2. But yeah, then you have a destroyed tank, which sadly you then have to get rid of entirely and rebuild, but it does make for some interesting scenarios where you may want to defend your town a little bit more fiercely just to make sure the bandits or raiders don't accidentally shoot out one of your tanks. Some stray bullets could go through and ruin your wonderful aquarium room that you've built in your home. And yeah, that is all there is to talk about with this thing. It's just a fun little aesthetic mod that does add in a few extra little bits and bobs. And again, who doesn't want a functioning aquarium full of color-changing radfish, some of which have weird particle trails? Good times indeed. So if you'd like to check out this mod for yourself, which I'd certainly recommend you go and do, I'd say to look at the link in the description, as per usual. But that, my friends, is going to be it for this one today. Hopefully you all have enjoyed, and you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, well, have a good one.